This is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa.
Well, howdy there, partner. This is a message for the Poos. What do you call that? Poos in South Africa. Who don't like hillbillies? Who's to the bigot, the Karen, who love the DA? Hey, can you read between the lines? Or are you not that bright? This is for the Poos out there. Mr. Stevenson. Hey, boy. Yeah, won't you squeal like a pig, boy? Yeah. Yeah, well, little baby down there in Western Cape, loving them DA. Oh, got them heart failings. Ooh, sad little fella. I'm going to show you all right now what happened. This sad little baby. You could post on my video. Yeah, his feelings was hurt. And then he had to call me names. Call me a hillbilly. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the Karens are out in full force in response to my latest video, which is trending very well at the moment. Thanks to everybody who's watched it. 5,400 views on a video that's just not even an hour old. Welcome back to the program on a Sunday, June 30th, 2024, the day in which President Cyril Ramaphosa will announce his cabinet and govern national unity tonight at 9 p.m. South Africa time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch it right here live on Chris Wyatt Africa, since where most people like to go to watch it, Ronaldo is currently off the air owing to the nonsense going on there. So where am I from? Hey, Johannes, this cowboy is from Maryland. We don't find many cowboys there. And actually, Maryland, Ohio, take your pick. Now live in Pennsylvania. So, folks, I'm going to read through who's here in the chat, greet those folks very quickly. Then I'm going to show you two things. Number one, for those who want to help out or inclined to help out, one member of parliament named Ronaldo Hus, I will put up the information so you can. Why don't I do that right now? Why don't I just wait? Put that up now. So if you guys want to help Ronaldo out, and then we'll talk about this Karen on YouTube. The unbelievably disrespectful garbage coming out of the mouths of children on YouTube is unbelievable. First off, I don't get too, big in my britches or I'm important, but, I am retired freaking colonel. I am a former diplomat. I am a person who's saved hundreds of thousands of lives. I am a person of integrity and character. And for some asswipe, little self-pleasuring Karen who loves the DA to come in here with their garbage and put stuff on my videos, grow up. You're just going to get moored. You're going to get a PK right upside the head. And that's what you got there, you little puss. So anyway, and if I mispronounce that word, that's intentional. Okay, because it's a rude word. But back to, if anyone would like to help out Ronaldo Hus in his campaign, what's going on there, legal expenses because of the cowards at Tobacco Buddy who proved just how dishonest they are by canceling his campaign, claiming there were threats in there. There were no threats in there. The only threat was from Tobacco Buddy. But since they did that, the legal firm has started a legal fund for him. So let's just go and put that up on the screen. Anyone wants to help out, there you go. The South African Human Rights Commission is taking Ronaldo to court for a video he made 15 years ago. Most of the media has not reported on this video correctly, especially the Independent Online. And you can help by donating towards his legal costs for the Equality Court. Here is his legal counsel trust account. Gribenau Incorporated Attorneys. It's an ABSA bank account. Let me make sure you reference Ronaldo Hus when you put the money in there. Otherwise, they probably won't give it to him. But there you go. There's the account number. And there's the reference. So if you want to do a screen capture of that very quickly, please do that. Get yourself the information so you can help out Ronaldo, Justice for Hus. Anyway, so there you go. People who are intentionally trying to falsely paint the man as a racist because it suits their political needs are disgusting, shameful, hideous, vile human beings. Anyway, but again, that's not really what this show's about, but I just want to share that with you very quickly. So Val's here. Should be back in 50 minutes. He came early. Courtney McBride is here. James Bowie, Monray Sieberts. Yes, they are absurd, Courtney. They can be so absurd. I made a video about it this morning. Hello, Sue Walsh. Lodine Monday in from Howick. Ulrich Fenter. Teresa. Email Thert. Pizza Time is back. Who's this woman seeking? What woman? What are you talking about? Dylan, Chris Ayler, Lorraine Slabbert, welcome to you. Peter John Wust, welcome, Peter John. Smee again is back again. George Steinberg in from Heckport, one of our meet and greet participants. Liam is here. Erica, hello, Erica. Vilma, Alan, I don't see Hendo yet. PK is here, dropping a bucket. Clive Streak is back once again. Terry Weistra, is that how you pronounce it? I pronounce that Weistra. Interesting surname, Terry. Welcome to you. And with an I, I'd think it's a lady, but who knows the way things are done. Mark Purchase, Vilma Rasmus, John Hutchins from Arizona, Richard Lambert. Johannes Vandemerve says hello. Welcome to you. Friends, Freda. Oh, well, thank you for that. You call it a cat, Colonel. Yeah, get off that hill, Billy. Yeah, anyway, so where else are we at here? Okay, I missed it. Just jumped ahead on me here. So we've got Amateur Radio Fun says, hello, welcome to you. Like the video. Please don't just sit in the back seats. Yeah, please hit the like button, folks. Costs you nothing but a moment of time. Seymour's the name. Okay, Seymour. Is that for real or is that just a line from a movie? Welcome, Seymour. Dropping a bucket. Jacques Pesh. Good evening to you. Stephen Mace. Hello, Lord Master Wyatt. The Sith Master. Yes. Debbie Morey's here. Diane McMeekin. Well, that's an interesting surname, Diane. Thank you for being here. I think the DA isn't bad, but really significant change. Yeah, no. Look, see, that's the problem. People watch the video and go, oh, no. I didn't say it was, oh, I just said the DA capitulated. They wanted trade and they gave up on it. They didn't give it and they got nothing in the security cluster. And as I said, as I predicted, when I predicted the coalition government almost 4 months ago, go back and watch the video, just 2,400 views. When I predicted the Doomsday Armageddon Coalition or the Zimbabwe for South Africa Coalition, which is what this is, I said that the ANC would not let go of the security cluster. And they haven't. Exactly as I predicted. LS is here. Helen Duplessis. Hello. And Diane misses Ronaldo. I'm sorry, Diane. Ronaldo's doing as well as can be expected, but he's probably in the chat. If you want to say hello to Ronaldo, he's been watching a lot lately. Oh, my pronunciation was just perfect, says Lorraine. Thank you for that. Yeah, John Ray, I can't believe with 30 balls remaining, they needed 30 runs. And when Clausen went out, I knew it was all over. Yeah, but there's a little bit of gamesmanship there. An Indian bowler. Oh, it's a Wood. Went down with an injury, and they swapped him out. And then, wow, suddenly the whole game changed. They got Clausen out with the next bowl. Yeah, I think India stole it. Not to mention the fact that there should have been a 6 and never should have been a wicket on that catch. That was not a legitimate catch. They were beyond the boundary. Someone moved the little things beyond the boundary, the little rubber things, those pads there. So that was not legit. Not legit. And so the South Africans were actually probably cheated, to be honest, but they might have still lost. Arctic is back. Tyler Dugan is here. Who else have we got? If I missed anybody, and Debbie Morey. Okay, they're getting over dictated to. We need it. Eco. Courtney said, "What are your thoughts on Biden's debate performance?" Joe Biden's debate performance. You want to know what I have to say about Joe Biden's debate performance? Houston, we have a problem. All right, so I don't read these very often during my news streams, but this one just kind of, got my attention. So I was looking at the people, the number of views it just got on my video, which, as I said a few moments ago, was 5,400, the one I did this morning. So it's trending very well. So obviously YouTube is not quite, shadow banning the way they've done much in the past. 5,700. It's gained 300 viewers in the minute or two that I've been talking to you. But I just want to bring this one up because, look, I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so this is what this guy said. He said, well, I have to try very hard to believe anyone who looks like a hillbilly. Okay, so let's start with, he's already rude and disrespectful. You have a good point about the DA perhaps walking away. That's the end of the positive commentary. However, this is a coalition and the DA are able to leave at any time. No, it's not a coalition. It's a government of national unity. I'm the one who called it a coalition. So if the ANC carry on with their corrupt ways, they can do that. For you to accuse them of being power hungry is ridiculous. I accuse the DA of being power hungry. Yeah, because they'd much rather be in government than be out of it because they capitulated on the key post. Do you actually live in South Africa? If you do, have you ever been to the Western Cape? If you had, you would know that they're an incredibly good set of managers who've done an amazing job down here, especially having to deal with the millions of Xhosa who've migrated here to escape the ANC's corrupt and incompetent rule. They really do need to be inside the tent pissing out as it gives them a chance to prove their point. If they hadn't stirred things up a bit, we'd all be saying they were a bunch of muffies. Ooh, now that's sorry, I just read it, didn't mean to say it. That's a very, very, very disrespectful slur against the gay community. And that's not my word. I'm reading the comment from the clown who put it on here. That is very disrespectful and not acceptable. Wow, I can't believe he said that. Let's see how things pan out over the next 6 months or so before making stupid comments like yours. Wow, I missed that rude, not well-known slur against homosexuals. Yes, there's a movie called that. I'm aware of that. Yeah, that's a slur, though, Courtney. It's a slur. It's a slur. It's an intentional slur. And this, wow, what a rude, disrespectful clown. So the vitriol that I delivered back to this jackass is well-deserved. So it's at Steve Davidson 666. Well, there you go, 666. It's just even a real account or somebody that worships Satan. Anyway, so he says, And I gave 6 answers. I said, try very hard to believe anyone who looks like a hillbilly. Are you just an ass? That was my question. For you to accuse them of being power hungry is ridiculous. To which I responded, how so? Make a point, not a pointless claim. Then, do you actually live in South Africa? Not germane. And no, I do not. Obviously, you have zero idea who I am. Do some research before wasting our time, because people are reading his asinine comments. Number 4, have you ever been to Western Cape? Again, you are clueless. I just departed the Western Cape on Tuesday. Number 5, having to deal with millions of kossa. It's not millions, it's hundreds of thousands. And bigoted much? And number 6, before making stupid comments like yours, y'all. Speaking of stupid comments, for such a poorly informed post, you have incredibly bad manners. Futsek. And finally, at the end, I said a typical pissy, whiny little rah-rah DA Karen. Can't handle life, so you attack others. Stop being a toddler. Watch more than one commentary before acting like such a clown. And this is the screenshot. In case he deletes his whiny little commentary, that is the screenshot of what I said. Yep, he's a donkey without stripes. A silly ass. Exactly. Wow, what a clown. Yeah, and he used the M word. I didn't even see that. Apologies for reading that. I didn't even see that. Wow. Shameful, shameful, shameful conduct. What a sad, pathetic loser you are, so-called Stephen Davidson 666, and your worship, Satan. Anyway, folks, wow, we've got a deal. We've got a deal, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached a conclusion. The government of national unity has been formed, and the cabinet has been selected. Or at least doled out, not selected. Who will they be? Tonight, 9 p.m., tune in for the big unveil. Woo! The circus master himself, the ringmaster Cyril Ramaphosa, will announce his cabinet. Come one, come all, stand by, pay a fortune, be robbed. Cabinet announcement tonight at 9 p.m., folks. I'll be covering it live on the next stream. You're welcome to join us here for it. Helen says, gosh, some peeps. Yeah, exactly, Helen, exactly. Colonel's in the house says, EW Fun Thunder, how you doing? I need a drink, folks. All of that just really wore me out already. So this is an unsolicited, unpaid for advert for Starbucks, bottled by PepsiCo. Hey, Peter Muller. Will there be any Afrikaners in the cabinet? I don't know. We'll find out. But there will be DA members. So we'll talk about that here in just a moment, the DA portfolios they've gotten. This will be a little bit different than my normal broadcast. I do not anticipate interrupting Cyril with snide comments throughout the broadcast because he's actually going to say something. Wait for it, folks. Something new from Cyril Ramaphosa. Tonight, he's going to say something of interest to South Africans. He's going to say something of value, limited, but of value tonight. So therefore, when I'm broadcasting it, my snide commentary will be toned down a bit. I'll still offer, a barb here and there if it's appropriate, but we'll mostly be giving Cyril a chance to tell us whom he's put in his cabinet. Now, of course, when he gets to the ANC members, all bets are off. If he mentions them by name, we'll have fun. New special advisor to our new Minister of Defense. What you need, Van Tonder, is not a special advisor. What you need is a budget. South Africa spends a ridiculously low amount of money on their defense, and then they overtax their defense force, and their health care is poor even though they have a national health service as part of the military, it's very poor for the military. It doesn't get it done. I've forgotten how to work my emojis. Hey, Fiona's back. How you doing? Benny Boy, Cyril value, interest. Am I an alternate? Yes, you are in an alternate reality. Take a journey with us to a place in time known as the Twilight Zone. Courtney says, Chris's cogent analysis is what makes this show worth watching. And Courtney doesn't like my conclusions, and he says that. Thank you, Courtney. Tyler, if Uncle Cyril can add some value to my bank account, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be fantastic. Brett was happy to see India win. Thank you for your membership, Brett. And why is that not making noise on my end? I must have my volume too low. Anyway, wow. Yeah, okay, so we're going to get to the news here in a second. Helen has bigger balls than John Steenhuisen and says, gee, Sawyer. Possibly. All right. Yeah, what else? I think I've caught up on the chat now. If I missed a few people, my apologies. I probably missed a couple in there. Fiona says, many thanks. Great to be back after 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks in the hospital. I do not envy you that. Oof. I have some silly conservative views, but I appreciate what he says. Yeah. Yes, faith, family, and flag. What terribly silly concepts those are. That's right. Treating people fairly, obeying the Constitution, and allowing people to practice their faith, raise their family, and support the flag in peace and freedom. What terrible, terrible concepts. Africa's tired of these cricket quotas. Hansi Kronia. Okay. All right. So Lorraine Slabbert, the ANC's general expenditure is extremely poor. That's true. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the news. I know some of you are actually here to hear the news and not just me have a little fun with all of this. But once again, if you'd like to help the Ronaldo fellow there with his legal defense fund, here it is. He is being taken to court by the captured South African Human Rights Commission for a video produced 14 years ago. I thought it was 16. My mistake. I'm corrected in that. I thought it was removed 10 years ago. But anyway, whatever the case is, it's been a long time ago. The video was removed. The commentary was in poor taste and it was inappropriate, but it's certainly not a crime. The altered video is being used to give the impression a crime was committed. And quite frankly, the people who did that should be charged with a crime, not Ronaldo Jos. In the meantime, his life has been turned upside down. His chance to be a member of parliament on hold while we have convicted criminals sitting in parliament. It's unbelievable. Now, they've served their 5 years, but they're there. So unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, hey, John Musline's here. Hey, John. I missed John. John Musline. I was supposed to try to see him when I was in Joburg, but didn't quite work out. So multiple news reports coming out this morning of varying stories giving the indication that there had been an agreement on the parliament, on the cabinet, and now we know there has been an agreement. So this news is slightly out of date, but let's just go ahead and go with it from this morning. Even Reuters here in the United States reported South African parties were close to reaching a deal on who gets which cabinet post. Yep, the last hurdle is setting up the government, and a ruling party lost its majority in election for the first time since its inception. Well, John Steenhuisen says it's not a scramble for positions. The deal is as good as done. Well, we now know it has been done, so we'll see what comes up. We're still waiting to hear who the vice president is going to be. Anyone to take any bets on vice president? All right. And then the ANC and DA finally reach a deal on the GNU formation. But is there still final touches needed? Well, most likely. Most likely. And then the city press said the deal almost sealed, but late EFF entry into GNU could smell trouble for the DA. Let's just talk about that EFF entry into here. So the EFF, desperate for relevancy, a party that no longer holds the attention of anybody that gives a flying flip out what's happening in South Africa, now below 10%, virtually irrelevant compared to what they thought they were. The EFF, a party that was completely obliterated in KwaZulu-Natal province by the MK party, and virtually non-existent in that province. A party desperate for attention, a party desperate to get their hands on tenders, a party desperate to survive and keep the money coming from the white monopoly capitalists who fund them. I don't know who funds them, but because they don't report it. There's no way that they have the kind of money they have and they got under a certain size donation. So clearly something's going on there. But the EFF, struggling for relevance, entered into conversation with the ANC on Friday. Now, why are they talking to the ANC? Because the DA and the IFP are signatories of the Government and National Unity Agreement. They should have been talking to them as well, but they're only talking to the ANC, and their effort was to exclude the DA and the Freedom Front Plus. Boy, talk about gratuitous. Who's the Freedom Front Plus picking on? Just a little 1% party, and you're upset about them, 1.4%. But the Freedom Front Plus, they decided, well, we want them out too. Now, I could say that that's a racist position, but I don't know that that's the case. What I can say for certain is that it's obvious they don't want the DA or the Freedom Front Plus in there because they know the DA and the Freedom Front Plus are in large measure focused on merit and people earning their way in life. And they don't want that because this corrupt system doesn't work for the ANC or for the EFF or MK if competent, reasonable people run it. It only works if patronage hires who are loyal to the people who put them there are put in positions. So the EFF didn't want the DA in there because they realized it would be too much oversight. Didn't want the Freedom Front Plus in there because it'd be focused on merit. And that's why they didn't want him in there. Now, some people might say it was race. I have no idea. Of course, the EFF constantly calls the DA a white party, which is fabrication. The largest percentage of its votes in this election, 2024, came from not whites, not coloreds, but from black voters. The largest percentage of votes that the Democratic Alliance got this election came from black voters. And that's not a surprise, as the party has worked very hard to spread its base amongst all South Africans. It's the most racially diverse party in South Africa, with leadership of all ethnicities and with voters of across the spectrum. But of course, the media, the mainstream legacy media and the other political parties continually paint it as a party, a white party, and they always lie about what's going on. So the failed experiment to be a ANC light under Musi Maimane failed. And so ever since then, they've just reinforced their lies about the DA. Now, for the whiny Karen who was disrespectful and rude to me that I responded to earlier, you see right there, that's a fair treatment of the DA, which is what I always give the DA. But they're also a left-of-center leftist political party that has no problem with state ownership, has no problem with welfare. And I have problems with those things because they undermine human integrity, moral fiber, and drive. Humans are creatures that respond to stimuli, like any other creature on the planet. And people who are not properly motivated under socialism fail over and over again. And only the successful pay the price. The successful have their wealth and their efforts stolen from them and given to other people who've earned nothing. And that is a problem from my perspective. The DA has no problem with that. They like welfare. We got to help the poor. Never mind the fact that, she had 3 kids before she was 18 and her daughter had 3 kids before she's 18 and her daughter had 3 kids before she's 18. That's not their fault. It's not their fault that they opened their legs or they stuck they got a few thrust in underage. No, it's not their fault. It's our responsibility to pay for their offspring. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, people who have fallen on hard times because of misfortune, that's a different story. People who are in trouble through no fault of their own, that's a different story. People who make honest mistakes early in life, that's a different story. But perpetuating welfare for generations, that's disgusting and vile. I escaped generational welfare because it's demoralizing, it's undermining of human dignity, and frankly, it just sucks. And I didn't want to be sitting around collecting something free from someone. I wanted to earn my way in life, and I've done that, as do most decent human beings. But the ANC loves that, or the DA loves that too. Well, Debbie, Caro Charlo has been doing that stuff for his community in Chatsworth long before the elections. That's why he's so beloved in Chatsworth. Trust me, I went there, and of course, I got attacked by one of the black supremacists, twats on this channel. It comes on this channel. And, well, why didn't you go to this black township? Well, do you live there? Are you going to give me a tour? Are you going to take me around and introduce me to people? I don't know. Maybe just rock up. Do you think I just went to Kailicha? I went to Kailicha, went to 5 polling stations on election day. You think I just showed up there? I didn't know where all these polling stations were. I went with someone who knew where the polling stations were, a candidate for office there. And I went to Kailicha. Where are the racists when you do things to support other races? Well, that's nonsense. There is no other race. There's one race, the human race, but whatever. Different ethnic groups, when you do things. Where are the racists when I promote Tswana or Basutu, or when I go to the Basutu Cultural Village and do a documentary on it? No, they're nowhere to be found. Where are they when I support the all-black Forum for Democrats? Not because they don't like white people, but because their focus is on Tswana speakers in Northwest. Where were they when I helped them get their seat that was stolen from them by the IEC? These racists are nowhere to be found. These black supremacists, nowhere to be found. I go to Kailicha, nowhere to be found. Raise money for poor black South Africans, nowhere to be found. Because they're just hideous people. Well, Brett says he's got called a racist because he doesn't support affirmative action or BE or rugby quicker quotas. Well, frankly, Brett, don't sweat it, because the people who said those things to you are dingbat doorknobs. They're idiots. Affirmative action is racism. Giving someone preferential status treatment or outcomes based on an immutable fact that they have no control over is racist. Make no mistake about it. The United States had sanctioned official racism. Every time I hear about systemic racism, we do have systemic racism in America. It's called affirmative action, and it has harmed millions of people. But the people it harms the most are the people that it artificially promotes who aren't prepared for what they're being handed over, or those who suffer the lack of services as a result of those people. The United States military is being hollowed out right now by this DEI garbage, and I've got a story on that later today. Yep, I'm so glad I'm retired. Divette Martins, how's it going? Media keeps confusing the National Party with the... No, they're not confusing, Helen. That's intentional. The National Party is more akin to the party that it became, the ANC. Yep. Rudolph says, every time I think I'm clumsy and forget as hell, I remember Biden, and you feel like you're doing pretty well. Good. Jacques Vince back. They want everyone out there. They see white. This is not about the party. It's about who supports the party. They're against whites. No other way to say it. Yeah, well, they're just racist, the people doing it. Gina Mullman, hey, Gina, been in a while. Haven't seen you there. And what's EFF's favorite type of workout? Jumping to conclusions. Oh, Oh, Tyler comes in with a dad joke. That's a good dad joke. What's EFF's favorite form of exercise? Jumping to conclusions. I love that. I'm going to have to use that line. All right. Thank you for that one, Tyler. Someone was gang raped but feels, what's this? No, Brad, I don't know where you're going with that. Lorraine Slabbert, one race. I just said one race. Where's it at? You know who said that? Robert Sobukwe. Do you know that? Robert Sobukwe, the man that the ANC has largely erased from the liberation movement. Actually, I've not met, but chatted with Robert Sobukwe's granddaughter, lovely young lady going to university here in the States. My grandfather had to sell his farm due to the area falling apart. My inheritance and all our workers in the same boat. Yep. Sorry to hear that, Devet. Have you ever been in Delft? It's sad. There was a time when one of the school's principals had to have a police escort. No, I haven't hung out in Delft. Why would you join the U.S. Army as a white man? Well, I did, and I served 36 and a half years. Over 75% of the Army was white men. What's this? Helen says, hi, everyone. Unfortunately, we didn't just suffer the affirmative action, but also nepotism. Yeah, nepotism, patronage hires. What are my views, Tyler wants to know, what are my views on Trump's stance on NATO and Gaza? Okay, well, that's not really the time for it, but since I'm addressing chat now rather than news, I'll go ahead and do it really quickly. Tyler, so Trump's stance on NATO was negligent in carrying its share of the load. Only the new countries from Eastern Europe, the Baltic states, Poland, the Czechs, and a few others are actually paying their fair share. NATO countries agreed before Trump came in office to pay 2% of their GDP for national defense. And the United States was paying 3.6%, 3.8% of our GDP for national defense, whereas the Germans were paying 0.6%. So Trump was right to call them out because they were freeloaders, and they don't deserve our protection and the blanket of security that we provide, and the billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars we provide so that they're not attacked. So Trump called them out and said it's time to step up to the plate. And lo and behold, many of them started stepping up to the plate. So I'm not sure what stance you're talking about on NATO. I mean, are you talking about the fictional stance that the media lies? Trump says we're withdrawing from NATO. Trump says NATO's no good. Trump never said that. Trump never said we're withdrawing from NATO. Trump threatened that the U.S. would not participate in NATO, just like the French did in 1968 under Charles de Gaulle. Except he said because they were lazy and not paying their fair share, and they began paying their share, and the story died. So I'm not sure what position you're talking about there, Tyler, when it comes to NATO. As far as Gaza, I don't know. What is Trump's position in Gaza? He supports Israel, and that's where he should be. So I'm not sure Gaza. What has he stated a position? If he did, please tell me so I can address it. Clinton did promise that NATO would not expand eastward. And look at this. We are on the doorstep of Russia. Not only on the doorstep of Russia, we've expanded, adding a historically neutral country, Finland, to the mix. And Sweden. Sweden has not been in an alliance since the 17th century. It's the last time they were in alliances. Wow. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see all the debate. I fell asleep, Tyler. Thank you. He said that Israel should finish the job. They should finish the job. Get rid of Hamas and end this conflict. Yep. I don't like how NATO was so nasty and harsh towards Russia. This wasn't fair, how NATO is relevant. Yeah, no, NATO. Jens Stoltenberg and Joe Biden's proxy war in Ukraine is unbelievable. They can't kill enough Ukrainians to satisfy their needs. Yep. Crime is a big problem. Hence my commentary about why South Africa's Democratic Alliance capitulated and didn't get any security cluster. They didn't get the Justice Department so they can actually prosecute people. They didn't get the police so they can actually solve crimes and deter crime. They didn't get the military to affect what's going on there. They didn't get foreign relations. They didn't get any of that. None of the security cluster. I didn't miss much except their argument over their golf game. Only 80 likes, says Fiona. All right, so let's back to the news now. Done deal, the IOL says. This was a story that came out today. The DA and ANC reached an agreement. Well, finally, the IOL hasn't been punked. They're correct. It is a done deal. But just a couple of days ago, wasn't the IOL the publication that told us it's all over? The GNU has collapsed. The DA and ANC can't reach an agreement. Oh, run for the hills. They just said that 2 or 3 days ago. Of course, the same people running around calling Ronaldo a racist every time they open their mouths. Someone needs to get a proper editor on the staff at the Independent line. I'm just saying. Meanwhile, the EFF proposes a GNU minus the DA and EFF, or Freedom Front Plus, EFF. So I did a short on this earlier. Isn't it ironic? The EFF screamed when they found out that the DA had a clause in the agreement the statement of intent that said they will only enter the GNU if there was no MK and no EFF. When the EFF found like, they don't want the EFF, they're racist. No, they don't want communists in their midst. The ANC is much closer to the DA than people realize. Much closer, minus the corruption and race hustling. They're pretty much the same in many respects. So that's a marriage made in hell, but it'll work. But the EFF, these are rabid socialists who want to nationalize the mines, steal land from people, undermine property rights, and they will own all the land. The government officials, not you. But that's what they want. So the DA and the ANC don't want that. So the DA wanted the EFF and MK out on principle, on policy, not on race. But the EFF, it's all about race. Well, hey, now we find out the EFF was negotiating with its convicted felon, Marshall Dlamini, the Secretary General, the convicted felon, an actual felon who actually did a crime, unlike Donald Trump, who committed no crime. This guy actually assaulted a police officer in Parliament in 2019. And here we are 5 years later, finally getting a resolution. And he got a conviction. And 18 months in prison. Suspended! So he doesn't have to leave Parliament. Yeah, talk about corrupt. Yeah, so the EFF was negotiating to get rid of the DA. What, do you think it was on policy? Probably not. They just didn't want them having oversight. They've expressed their desire to govern with the ANC, provided the ANC keeps the DA and Freedom from Plus out. Here's the thing. The ANC, as I told you for the past 3 years, Ramaphosa does not like Malema and does not like the EFF. There's no way in God's green acre that the ANC goes into coalition with the EFF unless it's out of desperation. And there's no need for desperation here. All they had to do was cave a little bit. Look at that. Little biatches, the DA gave up. Okay, we'll take 6 ministries. They just gave up. So the ANC won. Ramaphosa won. This man is like the Teflon tyrant. He's still there. Wow. Now, this is an unfortunate headline. This is from the Daily Maverick. And we have here convicted criminals and a person falsely accused of racism here. Look at this. The Daily Maverick says South Africa's parliament's rogues galleries. And they devote all kinds of ink to Ronaldo Gos. Very disgusting. And they put him in the same place as Gate McKenzie, Des Van Rooyen, John Schlope, Floyd Shivambu. Seriously? Ronaldo Gos has committed no crime. But you, Rebecca Davis, slander him endlessly here. Wow. Here, let's see where it starts. It starts right here. And all of this is dedicated to Ronaldo Gos right there. All of that. Yep. All of that ink dedicated to him. And he's the lead. And you've got convicted felons in there, and you're getting a person falsely accused. Shame on you, Rebecca Davis. You're just another sad, pathetic so-called journalist. Right. We almost walked away, says Helen. Ooh, they almost walked away. The DA nearly walked away from negotiations. Well, maybe they should have. Maybe they should have walked away and kept going. This government will not last, and it wasn't going to last without the DA. Why don't you let it collapse? And then when the ANC is truly desperate, let them come back in 3 months. Yep. Yes, Lorraine, that's disgraceful, disgusting report by the Daily Maverick. And unfortunately, I didn't find any place to put a comment below the article. So, yeah, she'll be getting an email. She'll be getting a lot of emails. Yep. Yeah, the number of people that he's going to be able to sue, it gets longer and longer. Now, we almost walked away, says Helen Zilla in the Sunday Times. At the center of the tension was what the DA said was the ANC reneging on its agreement that someone from the party would be in charge of trade and industry portfolio. Yep. Zilla and her colleagues were frustrated and often described the situation as being on a knife edge, according to party sources. You put your foot down on something and there's no reaction. You put your foot on the brake and nothing happens. You put your foot on the clutch and nothing happens. Wow, interesting. Having asked us to keep the negotiations out of the public eye and continue to negotiate in good faith, the ANC leaked the letter I sent them last weekend. They also misrepresented the list of portfolios in which DA expressed an interest as demands. This distortion of the contents of the letter and the offense of the ANC took to it was designed to build public pressure on us to reach a deal on the ANC's terms. And it worked. The DA caved. Folks, if you didn't watch my video, let me just show you some of what I produced earlier, the slides here. Come on, where are they at here? So let me find them real quick. So this is what the DA did not get in the discussions, okay? All right, so these are the ministries the DA did not get. And I don't want to hear about having a deputy because it has no impact. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, they got to do this one here. That's what I need. I need a producer here. There you go. So the Democratic Alliance does not get finance, public enterprises, or trade and industry. Now, why does that matter? Finance controls where the money goes. and is the first place to know if malfeasance is happening or allows it to happen. Public enterprises are the state-owned enterprises which are dragging down South Africa's economy like an anchor. And trade and industry is where the BEE racist policies are all lined up at. The ANC also retains the security cluster, the Justice Department. There's no deterrence to criminals. The police, there's no proper policing and defense, and international relations, which is making South Africa a pariah nation on the international stage. These are the things the DA did not get. Hence my point that they capitulated. Gave up. Yep, they did. And you can say what you want. That's my analysis. Well, the deputy mayor in Tywaterskloof, is it Kloof? No, Tywaterskloof. The deputy mayor says, hey, bring it on. ANC DA, you want to remove me? I will burn you. Woo, Tywaterskloof. It's getting hot there. Here he is right there, that stunningly attractive young man. The deputy mayor of the Tywaterskloof municipality, John Michaels, has threatened to go to court if the DA and ANC try to remove him from office. He's a member of the Good Party, the Good for Nothing Party, which controls the municipality in the Overberg region of the Western Cape with the ANC and the Patriotic Alliance. But that coalition is in troubled waters. He claims the ANC and DA are in cahoots and want to get rid of him. The DA and ANC plan to dismiss me as deputy mayor and as a councillor. Their plan is to kick me out of the council. I have news for both the DA and ANC. You are in for a fight that will cost the taxpayers of Tywaterskloof millions of rand. A court will decide about me, not you. I'm waiting for you because taking you to court is easy for me. Well, what's it all about? Why do they want to get rid of him? What's going on here? Yes. Anyway, wow. So the Africa Report, a publication of Jeune Afrique, runs a puff piece on Eric Masisi, the president of Botswana, and gets things factually wrong. Not a surprise. A little puff piece on him. Let's talk about that very quickly as we switch our focus to Botswana. 209 people currently here. How many likes we got, folks? How many likes? Let me take a look at that. By the way, let me take a look at that and also check on the update of that video. 121 likes, 212 people here.
That was easy.
Hit the button. Cost you nothing. By the way, for the hate wanker says, have you ever been to Cape Town? Ooh, maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Ever been to Cape Town? Duh. Only like 1,000 times, moron. Anyway, wow. It's hard to say. Litigation will take 2 years before the court attorney's charge. Yeah, no, it's expensive, Chris. They'll be on the job tomorrow. These people never work on weekends. Marika Yonka, good evening. Hey, Marika, how's it going? Totally a bad here with hot water bottle. We have a 24-hour call center if they don't look at my reference. What? USA officially did not call it World War II until Pearl Harbor. 3 years after the war started in Europa. Okay. Pizza Time says the earthquake in Johannesburg today was EFF babies throwing a hissy fit that they were the first choice of coalition. Didn't know there was an earthquake. That's funny. Okay, so where was I at? I was trying to, I showed you that. Oh, I want to see what was going on with that video, which last time I looked was 5,400. Now it's 6,600, so that video is trending well. And it's going to die before the day's over because in about 2.5 hours, the coalition will be announced and nobody's going to watch my video after that. So let's hope it keeps climbing until we get to the coalition. Then people come back, you got it wrong. Hey, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. I didn't get it wrong. I just reported what the press said and I gave you my analysis of what it meant. Who went crazy? Who went crazy? Yeah, Dylan says, yeah, never been to Cape Town. I've only seen you here like 4 different times in the past couple of years. Exactly right, Dylan. Yeah, no, it's the hate wankers. That's what they do. Anyway, Ian Kama seems to know a lot about poisoning. Eric Masisi is really acting like a child and not a president of Botswana, and really a shame for Botswana. They don't deserve a clown like this as president. They deserve a genuine leader. This little whiny baby got promoted to this position despite being unaccomplished in his career. Biggest mistake of Ian Kama's career. Facing mounting opposition and troublesome former leader, Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi talks straight to the Africa Report in an exclusive interview. It's Botswana's first. That's the message. He's pushing ahead of elections in October, whether in relations with the West or China, building local vaccine factories. Yeah, right. Local vaccine factories. Yeah, okay. I'll believe it when I see it. This guy single-handedly nearly destroyed Botswana's economy during the lockdown and turned Botswana into the largest prison camp in the world outside of Australia. That's what this clown did, and New Zealand. Yeah, we are non-aligned. We look at self first. That's not true. You're aligned with the United States. Stop lying. That's our true north, he told the Africa Report when he visited their offices in Paris. What's he doing in Paris? Under Masisi, however, the GDP has shrank. It's slipped to just 2.2% this year. And he's out to get Kama. Yep. of late, he's been speaking a lot about poisoning. He seems to know an awful lot. Even the ingredients and the methods, says Masisi, murderers in Botswana rarely use poison. It's not in our culture. But he, more than anybody else, extremely proficient. Isn't that intriguing? What's intriguing is that you're slandering the former president of the country, the man who elevated you to be president, and your ungratefulness because you're incompetent and your feckless policy has crippled Botswana, a country that was once on the move and one of the fastest growing economies in the world over decades, even through the friggin' 2008-2009 financial crisis, which Ian Khama deftly navigated Botswana through without incurring massive foreign debt. Brilliant job. Or laying off workers. Now, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. So an accomplished man like Ian Khama, a true servant of the people, a true servant leader, is denigrated and slandered by this asshat known as Eric Masisi. Shame on him. Shame on him. Well, 5 talking points as India defeats South Africa in the T20 Cricket World Cup. I watched the end of that, actually the actual end of it yesterday, courtesy of one of the viewers who told me where I could find it streaming. Thank you for that. South Africa choked. They had it with 30 balls. They needed 30 runs, and they choked. Yep. Controversial catch for the ages, and yes, a choke. This story by Herman Mostad. Yep. He said the Proteas produced a gallant effort in attempting to achieve the biggest chase ever in a T20 World Cup final. They came so close after solid batting performances by the likes of Quinton de Kock, 39 runs, Tristan Stubbs, 31, Heinrich Klaassen, who was a stud, 52, and David Miller, 21. David Miller didn't get it done. I'm sorry, 21 was not even close to being enough. If he gotten 30, then they would be champions. So I don't want to hear them pimping him. If he got 30, he still would have been the 4th most successful batsman in that game, and they would have won. They would have won it. So no, don't promote David Miller. He choked. He choked. He didn't get it done. Yep. So here is a controversy which is now brewing, folks. Check this out. This is an image posted by Hassan Kazmi on Twitter. And you'll see here where the boundary has been moved. You can see the marks in the grass where it had been laying for days, and then it's pushed back about a half a meter. And look where his feet are. This is an illegal catch. There you go. And this should never have been allowed. Should have been 6 runs right here. They needed 16 at this point from 6 balls. That should have been 6 over. 6 runs, excuse me. Yep. Unbelievable. What a shame. What a shame. South Africans were cheated, but they still could have won it, and they choked. Well, the war of words is on when it comes to the Irish series against the Springboks. Woohoo! Victor Matfield weighs in with some very harsh words about Sam Warburton. It's hotting up when it comes to this. They're really turning the Ireland-South Africa into a super classic rivalry now, folks. Yeah, he can't tie Victor's shoelaces. Springboks legend Victor Matfield, whom I've interviewed on this program, has fired back at Sam Warburton's claim that Ireland is the best team in the world in a stunning counter on South African television. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Victor Matfield did not hold back. He said, I don't think he has made a final, Warburton. No, he hasn't made a World Cup final. He hasn't made a semifinal. Now you want to tell everyone that Ireland, who hasn't made a semifinal in the World Cup, is the best team in the world when South Africa's won back-to-back, said Victor Matfield. He must live in his own world. Now, to be fair, Sam Warburton did make it to a semifinal back against France in 2011 in New Zealand. But Matfield's comments were a precursor for what he and De Bruyne had to say about Ireland. This is what De Bruyne said. He said, Sam is a great player, but he can't tie Victor's shoelaces when it comes to experience and what he wants to say. Woo! He can't tie Victor's shoelaces. Man. And then De Bruyne was asked by the host, who is currently the best team in the world? Which he responded, how can you ask me that? South Africa, the Springboks. So Matfield doubled down on the comments about Sam Warburton. He said, I'm wondering at this stage if Ireland is the second best team. 2 years ago, before the World Cup, Ireland was really on a high, the 47-year-old Bulls ex-forward said. I mean, Leinster, came over with 14 of their starters from Ireland, and they couldn't beat the Bulls. Ouch! I was at that game. Wow. It's on like Donkey Kong, folks. At least 18 people killed in violence in multiple suicide bombings in Nigeria. 3 female suicide bombers detonated explosive devices at a wedding and a funeral. What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? Barkindo Saidu, Director General of Borno State's Emergency Management Agency, said 3 female attackers struck distinct locations in Gwezo, a bustling city in Borno State. Victims included children and pregnant women. Man, some Nigerian outlets have reported at least 30 people were killed. No group has claimed responsibility for this horrific thing. Why does anybody think such a thing is appropriate? Well, folks, if you didn't think it was H1N1, bird flu, swine flu, Zika, COVID, well, now they're trying to make you fear medical porn with dengue fever. Run for the hills. Dengue fever is coming. Yep. Climate change helped fuel an explosion of dengue cases in the Americas, including Puerto Rico, as mosquitoes multiply in warmer, wetter weather. The storm's coming, folks, said Grayson Brown, executive director of the nonprofit Puerto Rico Vector Control Unit. It's here in Puerto Rico, but you guys are going to feel it pretty soon. Well, I'm not going to feel it here in Pennsylvania, trust me. Surging cases in the Americas fuel a record dengue epidemic. The Americas, which is always where dengue fever has been most prevalent, continue to have the most cases. But the number of cases is tenfold from what it was just in 2021. Now, why is that? Because people are outdoors, but it still is a record, and it is worth paying attention to. Dengue fever, the next thing to fear. Well, France has an election because Macron got spanked in the European elections, and so he called a snap election. He's going to regret this as the right is surging. Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party has dominated all pre-election opinion polls. Now, will people actually vote the way they tell pollsters? The outcome of the two-round elections, which will wrap up on July 7th, could impact European financial markets, Western support for Ukraine, and how France's nuclear arsenal and global military force are managed. Yes! 49.5 million registered voters who will choose 577 members of the National Assembly. Turnout at midday on the first round was at 25.9%, higher than the 2022 elections at the same time of day, when it was just 18%. There she is, Marine Le Pen, daughter of the famous Le Pen. Old and frail. No, not me. Voters expressing their concern over Joe Biden's performance in the so-called debate. Old and frail. Debate raises questions as to whether Biden should serve a second term, as well as criticism of Trump for his falsehoods and evasiveness. Trump was evasive, but falsehoods, no, that's a matter of opinion. Wall Street Journal, you become captured too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, more companies are using better judgment when it comes to promoting one sexual choice. That's right. Instead of disdaining the vast majority of the planet, well over 95% of the planet that is heterosexual, the companies have been pushing a gay agenda and undermining families with this agenda. Now, that's not anything against people who happen to be gay, bisexual, or transgender. Not at all. But it's a statement of fact. Businesses have moved away from being businesses and providing goods and services to being advocates and proponents for alternative lifestyles or for alternative outcomes or DEI and such. This year, because of Bud Light and Target's shameful, disgusting behavior the past couple of years, these businesses are being a little more circumspect. And now, after what happened to Tractor Supply store, we're going to see that happen more. More companies are staying quiet during Pride, but the money is still flowing to these causes. Companies have tread lightly this Pride month as they brace for a divisive presidential election and are mindful of conservative public backlash against Target and Bud Light. Tractor Supply will end all spending on diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, as well as environmental causes, and no longer sponsoring Pride festivals after alienating almost this entire customer base. Yep. But nonprofit advocacy group GLAAD, gays, lesbians, and anyway, CEO Sarah Kate Ellis said she's seeing more companies get involved in year-round philanthropy and activism instead of just flying rainbow flags during Pride Month. What I find very interesting is that as a cohort, people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, according to statistics, tend to be more affluent, more successful than society at large. So why do people have to give money to this group if they're so successful? Why is that? Why aren't we giving money to poor people on Indian reservations or poor people in Appalachia? Instead, we're giving to people based on their sexual orientation. That's just not right. Anyway, so they're paying a price. Robbie Starbuck, also a previous guest on this program, Robbie Starbuck, who now lives in Tennessee, did this. He said, it's time to expose Tractor Supply. It's one of the most beloved brands by conservatives, but what do they really stand for? Under Chief Executive Officer Holoton's leadership, they said they stand for LGBTQIA plus training for employees, funding pride, drag events. They have a DEI council. They're funding sex changes. They're funding climate change activism, Pride Month decorations in the office, DEI hiring practices, and LGBTQ plus events at work. Hal also likes posts attacking unvaccinated people. And when ESPN when Allison Weir left ESPN over COVID, let's just say that that those likes make it appear he's not fond of people who choose to skip the jab. He said, I take no pleasure in bringing this to light. I'm a Tennessean who loves to support Tennessee companies, but as a proud Tennessean, I know that those woke priorities won't align with our state or Tractor Supply's customer base. We must make our voices heard. Hal Lawton needs to understand that we don't want our hard-earned money spent on those woke priorities. If he supports this stuff, then he should spend some of his own $11 million a year salary or tens of millions of stock on it instead of using the money we spend at Tractor Supply. The kind of sex you like is not an appropriate topic for work. Events built around the kind of sex people like to have should not have kids at them and should not be funded with the money we spend at Tractor Supply. If you are as disturbed by what you learn in this video as I am, here's what you can do. Tracy McLennan has just become a subscriber. Thank you for that, Tracy McLennan. Appreciate it. Caleb, bye-bye, donkey. Anyway, so gives advice on what to do. He said, lastly, I want to thank those who've reached out to me in distress about the direction of the company. The post is for all the workers who wish they could speak out but fear losing their jobs. This isn't a very inclusive culture. I think you need to get out of the Brentwood office and ask local customers how they feel about DEI, LGBTQ trainings, and how they feel about Tractor Supply funding Pride events. Yep. Last thing. Why are you hiding your sponsorship of Pride events on Tractor Supply's website where you proudly display events and organizations that TSC gives money to? Don't you want customers to know that's where their money is going? Yeah, so Robbie Starbuck started a campaign here. This was just, when did he do this? What's the date on this thing? June 6th, so it's only been 3 weeks, and Tractor Supply has already caved. We have a Tractor Supply right here locally, and I stopped shopping there. Not because of Robbie Starbuck, but because I saw what they were doing, and I don't support what they're doing. When you sexualize children, when you have events which children go to that are sexually oriented, then you are a disgusting, vile human being and a corporation. You don't deserve my patronage. So, yeah, Tractor Supply, even the Washington Post has commented on this. A farm supply chain vowed to cut DEI roles amid pressure. Outcry followed. Tractor Supply said it would make changes to its diversity and climate programs after fielding criticism from customers. One of the country's largest farm supply retailers announced Thursday that it would cut diversity-focused positions, withdraw its carbon emissions goals in response to a right-wing pressure that sparked an uproar from other customers in advocacy groups. It's not right-wing. It's not right-wing. It's common sense. It's common sense. Tractor Supply Company made the changes after fielding criticism from customers about some of its programs. The Tennessee-based business said in a statement it also vowed to stop submitting data to the Human Rights Campaign, an LGBTQ plus advocacy group, and to no longer sponsor pride festivals and voting initiatives. We've heard from customers that we have disappointed them. We have taken this feedback to heart. Well, it's about damn time. About damn time. The move was met with celebration of conservative activists and consternation from others, including New York Animal Sanctuary. New York Animal Sanctuary? What the hell is their problem? LGBTQ plus organizations and association that aims to support black farmers. What? What do black farmers have to do with this conversation? It's about sexualizing children and DEI nonsense. I suppose that's where it's at. There's a super chat from Erica. Thank you for that. 140 Rand on the last day of the month. Boy, come on, folks. Give me some super chats so we can show a good month this month. We haven't got it. Maybe we'll get some super chats during the president's speech later. We'll see when he announces the cabinet. But we are trying to make some progress. It's the last day of the month. See how we did this month. Let's see what else. Tractor Supply did not respond to requests for comment from the Washington Post. See, I don't blame them. They're the latest to find themselves at a crossroads between customers with different political beliefs. They sell animal feed, tractor parts, power tools at more than 2,230 stores nationwide, and they're recognized for their inclusiveness last year. Well, inclusiveness is not inclusiveness. Inclusiveness is exclusiveness. When you intentionally include people, not based on merit, not based on where people live, not based on who they are or what they can achieve, but based on their skin color, their sexual orientation, their ethnic origin, then you're not being inclusive, you're being exclusive, and you're crowding out people. If the best people to run Tractor Supply stores as clerks at the freaking till are Mexican Americans and they happen to be overwhelming in the field, then they should be the ones there. If they happen to be white boys from Appalachia, then it should be white boys from Appalachia. You don't hire people just to have diversity. Diversity is a false flag operation. Diversity is not our strength, because diversity is not what these clowns claim it is. Diversity is not one of these, one of those, one of these, one of those. No, diversity is diversity of thought and experience. That's what diversity is. That can make you stronger. Our deeply rooted mission and values and foundation of who we are as an organization, says Melissa Kersey, Tractor Supply's Executive Vice President. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Now you guys went down this path and you took a rural company and turned it into a corporate slime ball, and now you're trying to backtrack. Company came under scrutiny this month when conservative podcast host Robbie Starbuck denounced Tractor Supply's diversity and climate policies. An employee had recently contacted him to complain the company was supporting these groups. Starbuck visited Tractor Supply weekly to buy provisions for his farm. but he wasn't comfortable with the company putting money towards inclusion programs. Yep. Anyway. So others weren't so happy with what's happened now. John Boyd Jr., founder of the National Black Farm Association, advocacy group for African-American farmers, told the Post that Tractor Supply is sending the wrong message to America. Really? How is it sending the wrong message to America? The wrong message to America is we're not going to give special favoritism to people whose skin pigmentation suits our desires and wants. Instead, we're going to provide the same service to all of our clients, all our customers. That's not the wrong message, John. You have the wrong message of racial exclusiveness. Why do you have a black farm association? What makes a black farmer different than a white farmer, a Mexican farmer, an Apache farmer, an Asian farmer? You're all farmers. Why do you get special status? In 4 decades as a farmer, he's seen white farmers who make up 95% of farmers spit in black farmers' face and call them, oh, really? Shut up, you juvenile. Really? In 4 decades, I've been a farmer since the 70s. I've never said that to a black person. I've never seen anyone say that to a black farmer. What a crock of horse shit. These people are just race hustlers. Besides, someone calls you names, just ignore them. Squirrelwood Equine Sanctuary, an animal sanctuary in Montgomery, said Tractor Supply would no longer receive more than $65,000 usually spends each year. You've lost our business in every shred of respect we might have had. Well, good riddance, Squirrelwood Equine Sanctuary. Nobody wants your business because you're bigots. Yep. Tractor Supply's embarrassing capitulation to the petty whims of anti-LGBT activists, extremists, puts the company out of touch with the vast majority of Americans who support LGBTQ family, friends, and neighbors. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. Tractor Supply gave favoritism to a group of people and promoted a group of people while neglecting others instead of simply doing what it's supposed to, provide a business service to its customers. The purpose of Tractor Supply, Starbucks, McDonald's, John Deere, Accenture, Merrill Lynch is not to promote sexual orientation or racial issues or all this other garbage that's being put into business. That's for private organizations to do. That's for the public to do. If you want to support a group, then you form an organization as a nonprofit, get it registered, and go about your business legally and do it. But people who buy goods and services aren't buying goods and services because they want to be fed garbage that they don't believe in. And when I say garbage, promoting one group of people over another group of people is garbage. It's garbage. Absolute garbage. Yeah, if there was a white farmers association, John Boyd would lose his freaking mind. Oh, they're racist. Why? Well, they represent 95% of farmers. Why can't they do it? You know, speaking of this nonsense, how many white people get to go into black fraternities and sororities at university? I haven't seen any when I went to university. They were exclusive clubs for black folks. But God forbid a white fraternity excludes someone who's black. Well, that's racism. But the black ones can do it. It's just a ton of nonsense. It's just nonsense. It doesn't build anything inclusive. Anyway, that's what's happening there. Now, a couple more stories here before we wrap up with the news, folks. The Fire Department of New York's boss, this nasty Laura Kavanaugh, who hates men, this man-hating Laura Kavanaugh, and who hates her own firefighters, has been sending texts to New York Attorney General Letitia James saying, I can't fix them. FDNY's Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh wants to fix the behavior of her department's predominantly male workforce, but can't figure out how to extinguish their flames of discontent. She's butted heads with plenty of male underlings since being named the city's first female fire commissioner in 2022. She made blunt admission while apologizing to the New York Attorney General during a March 8th text exchange, the day after the pro-Trump firefighters and other attendees mercilessly booed the Democratic politician during a department promotion ceremony. I should have called you last night, but I've been trying to find a way to say I'm sorry that doesn't involve me apologizing for men who don't deserve such grace. Well, you don't deserve anything, you slimy, horrible, political reprobate. Laura Kavanaugh. Footsec, leave the FDNY. You bringing this scumbag freaking criminal who violated the law and her fraudulent prosecution of Donald Trump and daily went onto Twitter telling people what was going on in the case, which was not allowed. Trump was given a gag order. He couldn't talk about the lawsuit, but you went there and you turned public opinion against him to get a conviction or a civil settlement that wasn't legitimate. You have no basis in getting anything but booed. And Laura Kavanaugh, same with you. Well, let me talk to you a little bit about some of those companies, okay? So the purpose of a going concern is to raise money. The purpose of an activist organization is to support their activist causes. There's a distinction, or there should be a distinction. Let me talk to you about Elf Beauty. Let me go to Elf Beauty and I'll tell you what's going on here. You ready for this? Now, their main purpose on their website, now their stock is through the roof. It's like $200 some a share. It's gone up a whole bunch. So good for them. But their main point is how exclusive they are and how they exclude white males from business there. That's what they're all about, excluding white males. Yep, so let's talk about them. Elf Beauty. We're changing elfing board game. Our board of directors is 2/3 women, 1/3 diverse, and out of 4,200 publicly traded companies, only 4 can say that. What the elf? We are bold disruptors. We build brands that disrupt norms, shape culture, and connect communities. Really? I thought you were a makeup company. We are the community we serve. We are number 1 out of 4 with a board of directors that have at least 2/3 women and 1/3 minority. Out of 4,200 companies in America, we are 1 of 18. Well, there's more than 4,200 public companies, so what is he talking about? So you don't get to anywhere down here where they start talking about who the company is and what they offer until you get to there. It's all about their social impact, their commitment, their policies. It's not about, well, look at Billie Jean King is on there. It's not about providing a service or a good. It's about changing the world. So why are you a publicly traded company? Iowa Utility Board has approved the theft through eminent domain of a massive amount of farmland for a sketchy, unproven method of carbon sequestration. The Iowa Utility Board approves eminent domain for controversial carbon dioxide pipeline. The total project spans 5 states, including Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. It will cut through 2,500 miles of land. The total project spans 5 states, and it will connect 57 ethanol plants and affects thousands of private landowners, many of whom have fought against the project. Landowners have said in public and hearings and official protest letters that they object to allowing the company to have right-of-way on their land. The decision takes 859 land parcels that can be confiscated by the company through eminent domain. Wow. Wow. Landowners, of course, protested. They've argued the project is not for a public good, but instead is an untested science that will only profit the company making use of the private lands. That's right. So they are going to have to surrender their land, which is going to be stolen from them through eminent domain, expropriation. Their land is being taken from them to make a company rich. A company that will make a product will make them rich. Not these people. They're not getting residuals from it. This company, Summit, expects to store 16.7 million tons of carbon dioxide per year, which is 1.4 million. And get this, they're not making money from producing a product. They're getting money from fleecing the taxpayer. They're stealing land from farmers. They're stealing land through expropriation, through eminent domain, giving it to a corporation that isn't producing a good or service, but is taking taxpayer incentives by the corrupt state and federal governments. They're going to get $1.4 billion in tax incentives. So we are going to give them money to steal land from our farmers. How fucked up is that? Can you believe it? Unbelievable. This is what happens when people don't vote. This is what happens when people sit on their bum at home and don't pay attention. These corrupt criminals facilitate this garbage. The same thing happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut. They stole homes from people living on the ocean whose families have been there for almost 200 years. Ripped down their homes to build a shitty casino that nobody goes to. How does that help the public? Building railroads, putting in power lines, running fiber, running sewage and water, that's different. That's what eminent domain is for. The public good, not to enrich people. And that's what's going on here. Unbelievable. It is screwed up beyond belief. Well, talking about screwed up beyond belief, the Arizona State University has actually done a study of what's going on in the U.S. military, and it is not good. A vast DEI bureaucracy negatively impacting the U.S. Armed Forces. A new Arizona State University study suggests that diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the United States military are ineffective. The studies done by the University Center for American Institutions argue there's an emphasis on training new soldiers about social issues like unconscious bias and intersectionality in a way the center says runs contrary to typical American ideals. The study examined DEI plans in different sectors of the military, including DEI office staffing and education in academies like West Point. The massive DEI bureaucracy, its training, and pseudo-scientific assessments are at best distractions that absorb valuable time and resources, the executive summary summary states. At worst, they communicate the opposite to the military ethos. For example, that individual demographic differences come before team and mission. 100%. 100%. This focus on the individual in the military. Look, America's focused on individual exceptionalism, but the military is focused on teamwork and cohort and esprit and cooperation, working together, not individuality. Hey, look over here. Now we've got female colonels walking around the war college with ponytails down the back of their fatigues, wearing earrings. What's the point of wearing fatigues if you got a ponytail and earrings? How does that uniform make you uniform with everyone else? I don't get to have a ponytail. I can't wear a beard in uniform. I like a beard. Why can't I have a beard? I want to express my individuality. Do I have to dye my hair purple and change my pronouns to be individual? What a bunch of nonsense. Okay, what are the highest cost of living in the United States? All right, we'll do a poll here real quick for the people who are still here. We'll do a poll. All right, here we go. So here's a poll coming up. Start a poll. I'm not going to give you the top one because it'll be obvious, so I'm going to give you some choices here. Let me see which choice I want to go. These are actual cities in the poll, okay? Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll give you one more choice here. You got 3 choices. So one of these is the highest. It's not the highest in the country, but one of them. Okay, there we go. That's the one I'm going to do with. Okay, so. Okay. All right, so which city has the highest cost of living in America? Here's 3. Here's your poll. Get a chance to answer it. So let me get back to the chat here. Okay, so white farmers are not welcome and black farmers' fraternities. Correct. FDNY should send Laura on the fire. They should send her out. Florida's lovely, both fresh and saltwater fishing like nowhere else. That's true if you like to fish. Laura hates men. Why does she even work with them, says Lorraine. It's a good question because it's about power, control, and changing. Do ELF board members know they aren't supposed to be eating their makeup? Matthew, that's a good line. That's a good line. Have I been seen Thomas Mabasso? What do you mean by that, Patrick? I don't know what you mean. According to the states, games and friends, nobody cares about the Dakotas. What? I love Dakotas. I love South Dakota especially. Yep. What else we got here? Global manufactured food crisis looming. Keep prepping, folks. Yep. Hey, Vernon Nylager's back. Good to see you again, man. Jacques says, why do the law-abiding people who love their family and just want to live in peace tie their hands behind their back when we fight the evil people trying to... Yeah, exactly. It's a good question. There's Hendo. All right. Also, why... because I'm not using my name here. Don't want people to find me. I want freedom of speech. Exactly, PK. Yep. Farmers plant trees and make dams. True, mostly for their stock. We can't survive without the farmers, says Erica. Okay. It's much like how everyone seems to portray South Africa as bigots. Exactly. Ponytail Brigade. Scientist says New York. Devet says proud bigots. I think there is a situation in South African Airways that needs to be investigated. South Africa is leasing Sun Express planes and crew, like car power ships for Escom, planes painted with South. Oh, I hadn't seen that, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thanks for the information. I can't check it out now. I was just in South Africa, but it would have been nice to do that when I was there if I had figured it out. Yes, the military are pretty obese in South Africa, that's for sure. Right, so, all right. Let's see how people did on the poll. How we got? 43 votes. Can we get some more votes? I think in your case it's necessary. A lot of people have been misled. James Brown said, I feel good. I wonder what the cost of living is for the Pacific Island territories, like Northern Mariana, American Samoa, everything there has to be flown. That's true. Very expensive. Like Iceland and the Faroe Islands, everything gets flown in except for the sheep and the lamb. All the rest of it gets flown in. It does tend to drive the price of things up, that's for sure. But then people eat things that cost almost nothing. It's a heavy starch diet, that sort of thing. That's why there's so much obesity in the Pacific Islands. Their lifestyles and their diet. All right, so have we got 50 yet? Let me see. 51 votes. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and talk about it. All right, poll's over. 51 votes. You guys got a chance to vote there. Okay, so here are the 10 most expensive urban areas in the United States. All right, and 1, 2, 3 of them are in New York City. So now this is any score above 100 is above average. So the average cost of living is 100. That's the benchmark. Okay, so let's say, that's the median. 100. Okay, anything above that is high. Manhattan, 231. Almost 2.5 times the cost of living of the average place in America. Honolulu, 186. San Jose, 177. So that was the highest one. San Francisco, 169. New York, Brooklyn, 161. Orange County, California, 155. LA, Long Beach, 151. New York, Queens, 147. Washington, D.C. at 145. And Boston at 144. That's the 10 most expensive places to live in America. You're saying Boers in Nigeria fighting Boko Haram. I don't know about that. I know there's Boers in Nigeria who moved there for farming. Sad the military sadly doesn't make physical fitness compulsory. They have physical fitness. I don't know why they don't adhere to it. It's their flag officers that are the size of boats. Their boats won't float, so they have to make up for it by appearing to be boats. Let me check on my video now. So last time was 6,600. 7,400. That's good. Well, I don't think we're going to get 10,000 though because we got less than 2 hours before it happens. But let me take a look at that video anyway. 7,400, I think it said. Yep, 7,400. And we got 1,400 views in the last hour. Maybe we'll make it. Yeah, so it seems to be tailing off a little bit here. But getting about 20 views per minute, which is good. Okay, so keep it going, keep it going. How many comments do I have now on that? I got 103 comments. Oof, that's good. Yeah, and I got 6 dislikes. I bet one of them's from the guy who told me I look like a hillbilly. Talk about bigotry, right? I mean, look, I don't care for tattoos. I don't. I especially don't like tramp tats or these arm barbed wire tats from the 1990s. I don't have those. I don't like tattoos. I don't know why people tattoo themselves. But I don't judge people based on that. I don't judge people. And I certainly don't comment on somebody's video for a non-germane topic. I mean, if I had tattoos on my face and like Tom McDonald, and you commented on my video about my tattoos, that would be inappropriate. But why do people do that? Yes, I do think the Proteas were robbed, but I also think they choked. There should have been 6. That ball was caught behind the boundary and not acceptable, and there should have been a judgment, but it was allowed. Yep, unacceptable. So, yeah, the Proteas were robbed, but they choked. They needed 30 runs from 30 balls, and they couldn't get it done. Yep, couldn't get it done. Is cost of living in California higher due to the minimum wage and tax? No, it's already high. The minimum wage has just been changed, and those laws have been in effect for a long time. Cost of living in California generally is higher because of taxes and because of the state's incredibly high budget. So, yeah, the big guy will be late. Get some coffee. Yeah, that's a little bit later on. So, yep. Government hospitals have a moratorium on gender reassignment surgery across South Africa, so it can be done privately, which costs over 400,000 rand. 400,000 rand is actually a bargain there, Chris, if you're talking about the full genitalia swap out and everything else. If you're talking about the Adam's apple shaving, if you're talking about an orchectomy, if you're talking about penectomy and the creation of artificial vagina, that all can be done. For 400,000 rand, that's a shockingly low figure. I mean, it costs even more than that to do it in Thailand or Brazil. 400,000 rand is not that much money. So 190,000 rand would be 10,000. That's a little over $20,000. That's like $150,000, $200,000 episode here in the United States. And you're saying, how do I know this? Because the military started giving it for free. They wouldn't do fertility workups for families that were infertile, but they will do sex change operations for someone who walks into their doctor and says, "Doctor, I feel like a woman." Or I feel like a man. And that's it. No counseling, no hormones required, no medical evaluation, no psychiatric evaluation. Just, I feel, it's like Shania Twain. I feel like a woman. And there you go. As simple as that. Scientist says they'll never win a World Cup in our lifetime. Well, they came close. They came close. Kevin says, I think people with tattoos on their face are real crazy. Well, Tom McDonald's got them all over his face. He's a little bit an oddball, but I don't judge him. That's his thing. Anyway, so, yeah. So much mental anguish, yep. Even if they need 10 from 30 balls, they would still manage to choke from that position, says a scientist. there should be a drive to help people feel welcome and accepted before they go for all those snips and clips. Yeah, no, that's the sad part. But we live in a world where parents don't parent, and values aren't taught by parents. They're taught by schools and these out-of-control state-run institutions, and people deal with bullies. It's horrible. Yep. Eric, you are very short. If you want to dress and act like a woman, why hurt your body? Well, PK, it's a little more complicated than that. We're not really here to talk about transgender issues today, but there are people with genuine gender dysphoria who are genuinely uncomfortable and feel completely different. But the number of people is actually quite small. We're being presented a fairy tale as if it's a huge percentage population, when it's actually less than 1/10 of the population. And people should have empathy for people that are going through that. That's my argument. You should have empathy for people who are going through that. Yep. Anyway, so but no, it's but if you question it, or if you question that happening to a minor child, then you're painted as a bigot, which is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ultimately, we should accept people for who they are, even the hate wankers. I mean, we'll accept the hate wankers for being hate wankers because they just can't help themselves. That's just their nature. That's what they are. That's who they are, and that's who they'll always be. They just evil people who whine and complain about people all the time without contributing anything. It is rare. That is correct, Brett. That's my point I was saying. But we should still have empathy for people who go through that. Absolutely. There are people who feel they were born in the wrong body in late teenage years, but go through proper counseling. Yeah, Debbie, well, look, okay, so a lot of this, what's happening today is wrong, and they're destroying lives because they're doing through sex changes for kids who are just going through a difficult adolescence. I mean, if we're all honest here, and what else should we be but honest? We went through puberty. All of us went through puberty. And if you're going to tell me that at some point in puberty, you didn't feel out of place, or something was wrong, or you didn't like your body, or you felt something was wrong, if you're going to tell me that never happened to you in puberty, then I'm going to call you a liar. It happens to everybody. Oh, if I had tattoos on my face, that would be something else, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, Matthew, you are correct. Social media and schools are responsible for this. This is where this stuff is being done. Have you seen the plethora of lunatic frickin' clowns on TikTok promoting this sort of garbage who are school teachers? It's shocking. And they're arrogant. And they claim that they have a rights, that the parents don't have rights, and they keeping secrets from kids. It's unbelievable. TikTok is an evil spawn. I did
guess what?
a video there today.
This guy.
I'm looking.
Do I support liquor, guns, beer, titties, and quickies? Hell yeah! Do I support liquor, guns, beer, titties, and quickies? Hell yeah! Do I support... Abracadabra! Dieser Kuchen war geradezu bombastisch.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, wait until you see this.
Oh, my
test
goodness.
with my full-
Isn't it odd that the homeless citizens of Chicago are put on the streets in these tents, while the people who broke into America illegally are put in the high-rise hotels in the city of downtown Chicago? Isn't it odd that...
Yeah, she's right. The criminal aliens who came here living in hotels while the homeless are living on the street in tents. Yep. Yes, teens are naturally confused about their sexuality. Chris says, I transitioned long before social media. Had to find out the hard way. There's another way. Yep. And folks, again, so, I don't talk about it unless Chris wants to talk about it, but you got to have empathy for people. And, Chris is a honored veteran from South African Defense Force who's gone through this difficult stuff in life and understands this better than any of us from an up-close and personal perspective. And I'm so glad that Chris is a member of our community here. So Clive said, I'll see you at 9. Well, I'm going to leave in a few minutes, too. You don't have to run off. PK says, I get it. My uncle is gay and died because of it. I get it, but why hurt yourself to implement it? The risks are ridiculous. Well, PK, the problem is that people are pushing this agenda in the medical industry and make a fortune off of it, an absolute fortune. I mean, maybe only 400,000 in South Africa, but I said it here, it's 150,000, 200,000, and then all the social, all the stuff that goes along with it. It's a whole industry. People are making money off of destroying the lives of our adolescent, and that's why they're doing it. They're being told that it doesn't destroy them, it makes them whole. And these prepubescent girls having their breasts, or these pubescent girls having their breasts sliced off, and many coming to regret it later on. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But again, empathy. But people indoctrinating our children needs to stop. Britt says we should be empathetic and compassionate to people who are, oh gosh, yes, especially people who are suicidal. Unfortunately, I've dealt with suicide in uniform. It's a horrific thing. Dealt with it in my childhood, and it was a very traumatic thing to go through. Yep. Does our current cancer treatment actually work? Well, there's all kinds of cancers, Debbie, so there's all kinds of treatments. I can tell you this much. Anecdotally, whoops, man, this clothespin just keeps bouncing all over the place. It's like a cricket, like a grasshopper. I can tell you that my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic lung cancer, was given a 4-month life expectancy when she got that diagnosis. She had lung cancer. It was bad. They put her on the one from Abbott Laboratories. It's either Keytruda or Truvada. I'm not sure which one it was, and I don't really care. But one of those drugs, which is given intravenously, you have to go to the hospital like twice a month, and they give it to you intravenously. It's a treatment regimen. Her cancer stopped, full stop. Didn't grow, and slightly smaller over an 18-month period. Her quality of life was fantastic. Other than the inconvenience of going for her cancer treatment, she was fine until the COVID scam. And then the hospital in Lancaster, Ohio said that you can't come in, only COVID positive patients can come into the hospital. So my mother was not allowed to go to the hospital. So they put her on medication she could take at home, traditional medication in the form of pills. She took the pills, and within 90 days, the cancer had spread throughout her body as soon as she stopped getting the treatments. So yes, I believe that there must be some efficacy to some cancer meds for some types of cancer. We've also got people who are detected early with prostate cancer tend to do quite well. Yep. Parents allow kids. Okay. Lots of parents should be punished for their conduct, their behavior, and they aren't. Lots of them. 177 likes. Can we do a little bit better than that, folks? Come on, make it happen.
That was easy.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and see what the status is in that video from earlier and see if it's still trending. I want to say 7,600 now. Let me reload the page. 7,600. It was a 7,400. Now it's 76. I don't think we're going to get to 10,000. Shame. I was hoping for 10,000 that video. So we're at 7,600 and it's still going. Maybe we'll get lucky here. Maybe we'll get lucky. I hope and trust that men of Colonel's class and experience will assist us in keeping peace in South Africa when the ball drops. Well, let's hope it doesn't drop, Devet. Let's hope things get better with the government of national unity, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But I am interested in seeing who all the cabinet members are tonight, and that's going to be the news for all week. So I put my marker out there talking about the cabinet today, and I'm getting rewarded with some views. That's great. I'm also getting rewarded with some trolls. But such is life when you put your commentary out there. What I always get is, when you don't agree with me, why do you have to be personal and attack people? I mean, why call me a hillbilly being rude? I mean, honestly, it's just disrespectful beyond belief. But hey, that's how some people deal with life. That's how they get through life. You think Democrats replace Biden? Well, Courtney, I've said it's always a possibility. I've said it since before even announced that they would likely, there's a good chance that they would do a brokered convention to remove him. And I think that the debate performance was done so early so they can make the excuse to remove him. Whether they do it or not is another story. So the only way they're going to be able to remove him is convince him to resign or not run, which he's not going to do. He's so arrogant. When he's lucid, he's so arrogant. Or the 25th Amendment. Wow, that's unprecedented, the 25th Amendment. Wow. That's why you only get your ID book when you're 18 here in South Africa. It's younger than that, it's a minor. And most things stay 21 years for major decisions. Exactly. Exactly right, Debbie. That's why you're not allowed to have sex with a 12-year-old because they're not an adult. They're not an adult. That's why you can't have sex with a 15-year-old because they're not an adult. Well, unless you live in Kentucky. That's why, children's brains are still developing into their early 20s. Kids are still growing. As a male, I was still growing at the age of 20. I outgrew my blue jeans. They were too short for me. My shirts were too short. I got taller. Still growing till about the age of 24, I think, is when I finally stopped growing. That's astounding. That's not normal. It's usually a little younger than that. But thank goodness. Otherwise, I wouldn't have reached the heights that I did. Your brand diminishes in the States. What are you talking about, Patrick? Coincidence that Sun Express and car power ships are both from Turkey. They're 737s with South Air tails with blue bellies. Okay, let me look that up. Sun Express. I'm not familiar with it. Well, how are they? What are they giving them? Mango planes? Because they don't have any planes. The South African Airways only has like 7, 8 planes, and most of those are leased. Sun Express. Okay, here you go. Yep, Turkish Airlines is parent. Yep, it's from 1989. Okay. Doesn't say anything about flying in South Africa. It's got 68 planes, 92 destinations. 34 years old. It flies Antalya, Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Izmir, Stuttgart. So basically, it's a cattle car to get Turks to invade Germany or to go home and visit their family. Yep. So they do have other destinations. They fly to France. Most of them are seasonal, though. They fly to Bulgaria seasonally, to Denmark seasonally, to Egypt, Estonia, Finland seasonally, France, Dresden seasonally, and then there's a bunch of places. They used to fly to Erfurt, no more. Friedrichshafen, no more. Karlsruhe, no more. Memmingen, no more. Visa, no more. They do seasonal Hungary, Iraq, Israel, Italy, Lebanon. They stopped the flight to Moldova, Norway, Poland seasonal. They stopped flying to Russia. They stopped flying to Slovenia. Spain seasonally. They stopped on seasonal to Sweden. And yeah, so there you go. That's just a... They have 68 planes in service and orders for 72. So why would they need South African Airways planes? They fly the A320, the 737-800, the 737 MAX. Ouch. MAX 8 and the MAX 10. But the MAX 10 are not in service. They're on order. That's not out yet. So MAX 8 is the one that's out now. Anyway, so that's Sun Express. I'm unfamiliar with this story you're talking about. It is curious. The very last in line when length was handed out, says Lorraine. Okay, sorry to hear that. Google Sun Express and SA. I'll do that. Sun Express. Okay, Sun Express and SA. Oh, they've inked a deal. That's from December. Okay. That's back in December. Okay. Memorandum of Understanding to provide 4 aircraft. Wait. SAA's got aircraft for them. Is it backwards? I thought you said it was the other way around. That makes more sense. Okay. Wait, I'm confused here. Yes, the Sun Express is providing the planes to South African Airways. Yeah, that's where they're leasing their planes from. So they got 4 planes from them. That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought you were saying that SAA was providing aircraft, which didn't make any sense. I must have misunderstood your point. Courtney says, will you ever do your show in Afrikaans Dutch language? It'll be interesting to see you do that. Unlikely, Courtney. I don't speak Dutch, and my Afrikaans is too poor to do a program in Afrikaans. Maybe I could read the news if somebody gave me something to read, but unlikely. Or do it in German, do it in French, but not in those languages. What's the news in the 2 astronauts? Oh, they're stuck, Garrett. Yeah, they're not. Boeing Starline. Boeing is just is a company with bad news, man. I'm waiting for the stock to keep nosediving. When it gets so low, I'm going to buy some. Come Chrono. Oh, listen to Matthew being a snotty little turd. Anyway. All right, folks, we're going to be on an hour and a half, so I'm going to break it here. We're going to wrap it up here. Thanks. Again, I'll probably be a little more quiet and not as snide on my broadcast of Silver Ramaphosa a little bit later on. But once again, if you want to help out the Ronaldo Meister here real quick, let me get that one up. Here is your opportunity to do that. This is the number and the account, all the information you need if you want to help out. So with the legal fees. There you go. Branch code, account number, and the reference number. Justice for Jos. Yep. Helen says, see you soon. Well, I'll see you there at that one. Thanks for joining me, folks. Appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind, folks. Cost you nothing but a moment of your time. We're close to 200 likes. Let's see if we can get a few more. Thank you, Erica, for the super chat. I think someone else gave a super chat too. And that will maybe push us closer to that magic number I want to get to for this month. Let me just see what's going on with that video. How's it doing? 7,800, so it's ticking up slowly. Pretty cool. It's the top performing video this week. So thank you all so much for that. God bless, and we'll see you in about an hour and 25 minutes, 9 o'clock South Africa, Central African time, 3 p.m. here on the East Coast. In the meantime, I'm going to go kick some butt against the Papal States and probably take on the Holy Roman Empire in medieval. Cheers, everybody. Go Army. Oh, boy. Courtney's back. Cheers.